Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Radloff. I am the West Coast editor at Glamour, and I am so happy that you could all join us today for the South by Southwest Freeform panel, Cruel Summer, with the cast and creative team of their buzzy upcoming psychological thriller drama / You've Got to See This. The series takes place over 3 summers in the 90s, where the popular girl goes missing, the awkward outsider transforms into the queen bee, and then eventually the most despised person in America. So with that said, please welcome executive producers Jessica Biel and Michelle Purple, executive producer and showrunner Tia Napolitano, and then joining us from the cast, we have Olivia Holt, who plays Kate, and Chiara Aurelia, who plays Jeanette. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. So great to have you here today. I know some of our viewers have seen the first episode. I certainly did. I'm obsessed with it. I love what you have all done so much. So I will start with Jessica and Michelle. Tell me how this project came to you and what made you say, we have got to produce this series.
We read the first episode and we couldn't stop thinking about the nonlinear storytelling and the incredible young female characters, and this sort of, initially you think this could be like this, girl versus girl story, but it really is completely about a difference of perspective, your truth to somebody else's truth. And that was just really speaking to us in a big way. And we were so excited that this show was living in this 90s world, which Michelle and I are both products of the 90s, I guess. And it's very nostalgic for us. It also, it has such a grit to it. I love this time period. And we were really interested in working with young people, specifically young women. So I think we read this first episode and we just thought, wow, telling this story with these 2 girls as the lead characters is so exciting. The 3 different time periods, it was sort of a no-brainer for us. We were in 100%.
When we got it, Jessica and I had been looking for something in this that spoke to our genres and things we responded to, but in a younger space, as she mentioned. And I think when we dove in deeper and we understood where the series was going to go with the dual perspectives, as she mentioned, we just felt it was so unique that it was a no-brainer when they offered us to come on board to produce it.
I love that. And Tia, when did you come on board and what excited you about this series, especially as the showrunner?
I came on board shortly after the pilot was shot. And when I read the script, when I saw the pilot, it just blew me away. It was so ambitious and intriguing. And I think the opportunity to tell stories about such an interesting ensemble centered around these 2 young women just was irresistible. It's very exciting.
Speaking of these 2 young women, Olivia and Kiara, you are both incredible. You just command the screen every time you are on it. Did you both know each other prior to doing this series? And what was your audition process like for these roles?
Olivia, did we know each other?
Wish we knew each other prior to this.
I know. No, we didn't know each other, but we actually clicked right away. We did like a social distance picnic in LA before we came out to film. We actually live next door to each other now. She's through that wall a little bit.
Knock on the door, she'll knock back.
She's that way. Yeah, I think we were instant friends, or at least I think that. But
so what were your auditions like? What do you remember when you went out for the role? Did you immediately think, yes, I have to play this, I can't wait to play it? What was your thought process behind it?
I read the first 2 episodes and I really fell in love with the characters. And I think that's ultimately like what drives me to really wanting to be a part of a project, is when I feel like I can either relate to the characters or I feel like it just is intriguing and interesting and unique. And this was all of those things and beyond. And of course, just the creatives behind it, everybody here. And to be able to really be a part of something that's very female driven is really important to me. And in this time and day and age, I feel like we need that. And these two girls are so different and so important. And even though this story is told in the era of the 90s, I feel like it's still so relevant to today. And I instantly fell in love with all of the characters, and I'm so thrilled to be a part of this show and to be working with everybody involved.
Kiara, what was your audition like?
As a young woman and a young actress, I think that it's really rare to get the opportunity to show all of the layers and all of the colors and all of the flavors of not a character, but a human. And I felt like as Jeanette, there was a lot there, and there was, the sadness, the dark places, the happy places, the medium places. And that to me is like the most enjoyable thing you can do, is to show everything and explore all the corners that are maybe a little bit harder to look at. When I first got this script, I was like, I want to work on this, but I'm never going to get this role. I'm too young. They don't want me. It's not going to happen. And I remember reading it and being like, I'm just going to go in and throw it away because I'm not going to get it. And then I remember being like, you have a callback. And I was like, no, it's not my role. It's not going to happen. It's too good to be true. And I went to my callback, still was like, there's no chance. Then I went into my test, still being like, there is zero chance this is going to happen. And I remember I was sitting in my room after my test, and I'd been getting a lot of calls from telemarketers. I think everyone has heard this story at this point, but my phone was ringing from this unknown number. And I picked up like, what do you want? Stop calling me. And they were like, this is Max Winkler and Burt B. Royal. I was like, oh, hi. And Max likes to play around a little bit. So he was like, I just had to call you because you did such a good job, but we just needed to tell you ourselves, like I wasn't going to get it, that we're really excited to work with you in Dallas. So I have all the fond memories of hopping on board with this show.
Oh my God. And we should say that Burt Royal created the show and wrote the first episode, and then Max Winkler directed the first episode.
Yes.
What a call. I'm so glad it was not a telemarketer.
It was not a telemarketer.
That is such a great story. One of the things that's so amazing when I watched it, the first episode at least, is that, Kiara, I didn't realize at first that you were the same actor playing Jeanette a year later. I was like, wait, is that the same girl? Like you both transform. So you're basically essentially playing 3 roles, I feel like, in this series over 3 years. How challenging is that for you both as actors, and how do you balance that? Because, I assume you don't film different years in the same day, but maybe you do, I don't know. So what is it like living in that headspace?
We do film.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, it's tricky, but I mean, thank God we have like such a stellar team who's there all the time to sort of give us insight as to where we're at, like where our headspace should be. Because I think sometimes, speaking for both Kiara and I, but I think sometimes we'll see each other at base camp and we'll be like, we don't even know what year we're in. Like, but it's we have a great team of people to help us stay on track, which is helpful.
And Kiara, when you were doing the audition, did you have to play Jeanette in different years? Did they give that to you, or did you just play her in one year?
Oh, I did. We had a 93 scene, a 94 scene, and a 95 scene. And yeah,
no pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Yeah, no, I love the different years. I think it makes it so much fun. I mean, I think that, every Jeanette represents a little part of me and a little part of myself. And I think that there's a lot of different energy that goes into her in her different mental spaces. But I think that's super relevant and cool.
Okay, so Michelle and Jessica and Tia, I'm dying to know the answer to this, but when Burt presented you with this idea, do you know what happens or what really happened to these characters? Did he lay everything out for you? Do you not know? Did you then tell the actors? Do the actors know? Like, I'm so, and obviously don't spoil a thing, but I just like, you finish one episode, you have to watch the next one. I mean, there's just so much just fascinating drama in this. So what did you know? What did Bert tell you? What are you aware of? I mean, don't tell us, but just tell us that if you know or you don't know.
I can answer that. We had an
Okay.
idea where we wanted to end up. And even with the writer's room, and we had this idea where we wanted to end up. But as we developed deeper and further, and Tia and Jessica and I, the scripts evolved, things evolved. And I actually feel like we have such a twisty, but yet satisfying ending. And no, we have not told either one of these ladies.
No,
They will read it.
Spill the
I actually,
tea.
I actually had an
us.
actress sneak into my office this last week, and I caught her trying to get a copy
No,
of the last
no,
script.
that is not
Who would
what
do that?
happened.
I
This
thought
is
she
a
gave out
fake
say
story.
hello, and she just was
No.
like,
Okay. Hold on. Correction. I just would like to quickly straighten the record. I went in, we were having a conversation, and I look over and I see a line of scripts, and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm like, they're on the counter. They're right there in front of me. The ending is right there. And if you've watched the show, you know, you want to know what happens. I want to know what happens. I pester these three ladies every single day, every day. So I tried to like sneak over and snatch it. And she was like, it's not even the
even
most
pestered
updated
me.
version.
Like you guys
Yes.
aren't gonna tell us at the same time. She's like, "I told you," and I'm like, the same amount that they've told you, Kiara.
Actually, every week Michelle comes in with a different ending for me. She's like, okay, this is what's happening now. And then next week she's like, nope, it's changed now. We're doing this. I'm sure they know. They just like to mess with me because I'm nosy.
That's
Kiara-
amazing.
When Kiara came into the writer's room, before COVID, when we still had in-person meetings,
Mhm.
we were, all the writers met her and she was so captivating, and we could see her little eyes wandering to all the work we had on the board, trying to memorize what was going to happen. And we had to say, eyes here, eyes here, eyes
I
on that.
just wanted to say that it was up on the walls in front of me. I don't know what to expect. No.
Oh my God. So wait, so Olivia and Kiara, I'm so fascinated by this. Do you then just get one script at a time and you only know what is in that that episode? And then you find out, like, are you finding out just as a viewer would, or do you have kind of an idea of the character's arc? And do you like that, or is it easier as an actor? Is it tougher?
But I think it's relevant to some capacity, that especially because we're going between 3 different years, there are some things that you need to be aware of. And I think that there's an importance in, communicating, and we're so lucky because I have such a close relationship with every woman on this call. And I think it's really nice that, we can talk about where things are going, what the backstory is. They're less, we know less about what the future holds because it has less to do with how it changes our performances. But in terms of what's gone on throughout the years that we haven't quite reached yet in the story, I think we've had really amazing conversations about that, and they're super collaborative and wonderful to talk to about it.
I have to just chime in for a second, because what we're asking these girls to do is so hard. They're making it sound, because they're professionals and amazing, like this is an easy thing to not know where they're going. This is the hardest thing, I think, as an actor. Usually you know where you're going, so you're stepping backwards in your performance and going, okay, I need to hit this to make sure that this makes sense, to connect that because I'm going there. They don't have that. They're working off this question mark, this blank space. So giving the kind of performances that they're giving without this knowledge is like, it's incredible. And I know there's an ease to it because you're so, your crafts are so honed, but it's really hard for people who don't do this. And if you were asked to, given this task, it's really hard. And these girls are absolutely annihilating this in the best way possible.
But it also allows us to use our imagination a little bit too, which I think is really special. I remember when I was a kid and everything was, using my imagination and playing and just having a world to roam free in. And I feel like you guys have created such a beautiful world that even if I don't know exactly, me personally, I think Olivia probably feels the same, even if we don't know exactly what's going to happen, it feels like there's such a great base and such a good structure of the show that it almost is easy to figure out how our brains can connect into these girls and this world.
That's so well said. And Jessica, you're absolutely right. What Olivia and what Kiara do in these roles, I mean, you have such heavy material to play. It's a tough role for both of you. So Olivia, what is it like then, not knowing what is really happening with Kate? How do you approach each script when you get it? And are you dying to know what happens at the end, or is it kind of helpful to still be in the dark a little bit?
Oh, of course I'm dying to know. I'd love to know.
I don't know. You're sitting there. You're like, I haven't broken into the writer's room yet. I'm like, so innocent. I don't know. You're making me think that you're.
I better
actually very
lock
cool
my
with it.
office tomorrow. I better lock my office tomorrow.
Olivia.
Kiara and I have formed an alliance, and she's gonna get you
Oh.
out of the office, and I'm gonna sneak in.
Totally.
Yes,
Oh,
we have
God.
a partnership going here, guys. You just don't know about it yet.
No, I do think there is a part of me that likes not knowing. Only because I feel like the material that I've been given, a lot of it is really heavy, and there's a lot of confusing moments for Kate, and I'm just as confused as her because I have no idea what the future holds. So it's kind of helpful that I don't know, but I'm excited. I'm very excited to know, and I really want to. But it is not knowing definitely helps me have that imagination. And even for Kate, like stepping into her shoes and some of the headspaces and physical places that she's in, I think it's important for her to feel confused and conflicted and not know what her next step is.
Yeah. Jessica, you talked a little bit about how the series is set in the 90s, and you and Michelle, you grew up during that time. I came of age during the 90s. It is such a fun series to watch because you hear songs that you're like, oh my God, I totally remember this, styles, everything else. So what were some of the challenges though of doing a series set in the 90s, especially during this time, which is very specific? And what did you want to make sure existed in this series for people that obviously grew up in this decade that could say like, oh my God, yes, I totally remember this?
So many of the things that were important to be, really displayed about the 90s: hair and makeup, of course, wardrobe, music, sort of the like colors of the 90s,
Mhm.
that kind of the neon world, and then the sort of gritty worlds. And as you watch this series, the years, we sort of give the years of within the show, 93, 94, 95, a different look,
Mhm.
all within that same, which like encompasses what it would feel like in the 90s, just different tones and vibes. But I think really most importantly, the props of the 90s, it's like cassette players and VCRs, things that some kids these days don't even know,
Right.
never even seen before, which is crazy. But all of those little details, I think, really brings that nostalgic feel and gives you a sense that we're really back there. And it's not just a set that you're looking at, like we're really immersing you back into the world of the 90s. And of course, music helps a whole lot. And our hair, makeup, and wardrobe department would be the key players, of course, and the props department, and
Yeah.
set deck and everything. Hugely important in really creating this world.
Right. Was there any particular song or music or group or band that you wanted to make sure was in this series because I mean, I know that I think of certain songs from 93 or 94 that I relate to so much. Was there any particular one you were like, we really need to put this in there because this is such, an iconic song from that year?
Oh my gosh. Yes. I mean, we've talked about so many different musicians and bands and songs of that era. Girls, remind me. I mean, at one point there was a Cranberries discussion, There,
Mhm.
I mean, there was a whole discussion.
Talked about the cranberries a lot. Portishead, we have some wonderful people sending us playlist upon playlist, and they are so fun to listen to. They're just so nostalgic. There's some Fiona Apple in there. And we're still playing around with all of it, but it's really transportative.
It so is. And what I get the biggest kick out of Olivia and Kiara is you both weren't even born in the 90s. So,
Oh God.
that is just the wildest thing to me.
I was born in the 90s, but I only
Oh,
spent
you were?
yeah, but I only spent like 4 years in it. So I don't remember anything.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So what do you think of this time period? What do you appreciate about it? What is strange to you that you felt like with a prop or something, like holding it, you were like, what do I do with this? Or was there any funny story when you did see it to be like, what were they thinking back then?
Yeah, I mean, I have to carry around a Walkman like most of the time, and it's massive, and it doesn't make any sense to me because after like having like a iPod Nano or like the smallest, tiniest little, like it just doesn't. I don't get it. I have like there's a scene where like I have a fanny pack, and the Walkman doesn't even like fit all the way in it because it's so large. And I didn't know how to work it when I first used it. I needed the props master to show me.
Oh my God, that is so funny. What did you think too of the style? I mean, we see Kate, especially at the mall, very early on in the first episode, and she's wearing that, that typical, like baby doll tee with the dress over it, and it's so iconic of that time period. What did you both think of the styles?
I love Kiara's style. Like Jeanette's whole style is my favorite. I'm obsessed with it, as well as Kate.
Which one?
Yeah, I know which one.
Which
You're right.
year?
You're right.
93 all the way.
93 all the way.
All the way.
That is so
The style
funny.
in this show is so cool, and we have so much fun with it. I know every time we have a fitting, we just are so excited about all the things that the wardrobe department picks out because the 90s are really back in a real way, and so it gets, to me, it's really exciting because I love that look and I love that style. So I know that every time Kiara walks on set, I'm just like, oh, I want that and I want that. Where'd they get that?
Kiara was talking about this a bit in the beginning, how she related to Jeanette. But, obviously, Olivia, you're playing this popular girl with Kate, who I think we all know a Kate that we grew up with. What did you want to make sure about her that would be so multidimensional and not the typical, just the popular girl? What is it about her that you are excited for viewers to see and explore?
She is not a mean girl. She is very complex. She is figuring out who she is, figuring out her identity, where she belongs, where she fits in, where she feels the most safe and at home with herself. And I think that is what we're all going through in some capacity anyway. And I think that's really important for the audience to know that there's a lot of different voices that are speaking at her. And I think she really struggles with the idea of what her future holds and who she is and who she's supposed to be.
Finally, tell me, is there anything that you can tease, since a lot of our viewers today have seen the first episode? What can you tease for the 9 remaining ones that they have yet to watch?
Lots of twists and turns, many surprises. We are a psychological thriller, and we also have a lot of fun. The show does a lot of things, and it fires on a lot of levels. A lot of time with the wonderful Kiara and the wonderful Olivia, these 2 brilliant young women. And it is an ensemble show, so we will get to know some of the other characters. And you will be on the edge of your seat for every episode. I promise.
Such a delicious series. It's just so entertaining and so dramatic, and there's just so much mystery involved that it is so great. Don't forget to tune in to Cruel Summer when it premieres in April on Freeform and Hulu. Thank you so much, Michelle, Jessica, Tia, Olivia, Kiara. I appreciate it, and can't wait to watch more. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.